Hello Pythonians. Today in this lecture, we are going to learn about object-oriented programming system or simply OOPS concept in Python. I recommend to write even a small project within OOPS structure in Python. This helps us to organize our code and our code will become more readable. In OOPS, we can write separate utilities and handle them independently without interfering with other code. Hence, it is a structured way of writing a project in Python. To start with OOPS, let's look at first topic called classes in Python. What is class? A class can be defined as a category. For example, here I have opened few Wikipedia pages. This one contains information about grasshopper. This one is about mantis and this one is about ant. What do you think is common in all of them? They are all insects. And in terms of biology, we can see they have mentioned this class as insecta. So all of them falls into a same insect category. Also, every class has its own attributes or we can say properties. Here in insects class, one of the attribute of this class is they have 6 or more legs. Also, for every category, there is some common behavior that we can define. In this case, we can say all the insects can crawl. You might be thinking that we are here to learn Python, not biology. So let's relate all these things to Python. Like class insecta in biology, the work of categorization of objects in Python is achievable by using classes. We can also define attributes and behavior of classes. These behaviors of classes are known as methods in Python. Let's understand all this with an example. Let's define one class called solar system. Now we need to remember while defining a class, we should start class name with a capital letter and other letters will be small and we can separate the word with other capital letter. Inside this class, I have defined two attributes. The first one is star. So the star in our solar system is Sun and the planets in our solar system are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, etc. Now this is the category that we have defined. This category is of solar system and inside this we are going to define all the information about solar system that will contain solar system's attribute as well as methods. Now how to access these attributes? So the first way to access star and planets in this solar system is we can write a class name directly and then with the dot notation we can write the attribute name. So here solar system dot star and that should print us a value of star which is sun. And there is another way of accessing these attributes. Here we have created an object of the class. Let's create an object ss is equal to solar system and open and close brackets. This way we can use this object ss as many times as we want to access the attributes in this solar system. So here we can access ss.star which is sun. Then we can access ss.planets. So usually we use this second method of accessing attributes and method in the class. This was all about how to define a class and access its attributes. Now let's look at init method in the class. Init means initialize. In Python class, init method is inbuilt method and it can be defined as underscore underscore init underscore underscore. This way we can define this method inside a class. And here you can see there are two arguments. The first one is default argument of init method in class, which is self. Now what is this self? I will explain this argument later in this section. Now we have defined our own argument called username. Now before writing anything inside this init method, we need to keep in mind that this method will get executed when we create an object of the class. So here we are saying self.initiator is equal to username. That means we are creating one variable called self.initiator. Why this self.initiator? While defining any variable in init method, we have to use this self dot before the variable name. Again, I will explain this self later in this section. So we are defining self.initiator is equal to username. Then self.message is equal to and we are using this username that we are providing, and we are creating one message over here. And here we are printing this sentence called solar system is initiating with username, and we are passing this self.initiator which we have defined over here. As we have learned previously, let's try to create an object of this class so that we can access the attributes and methods inside this class. Let's create ss is equal to solar system, open and close bracket. Here you can see we have error saying missing one required positional argument, which is username. That means init method inside this class is expecting one argument, which is username. Now why do I say one argument? Because self is default argument. And what is this self? So when I say ss is equal to solar system, that means we are creating this object ss, and this ss we are passing as a self over here. This will happen automatically. We don't have to worry and pass ss separately instead of self. So here we will just ignore self and try to concentrate on username. So we have provided username as an argument. Let's provide any username over here. Let's provide my name Sagar over here and try to run this code now. Here you can see when we initialize the class using this object name, the init method inside the class ran automatically, and because of that we got this print statement printed over here. Solar system is initiating with username Sagar. So the moral of the story is init means to initialize the class, and when I say initialize, that means we will run everything inside the init method when we create the object for this class. We don't have to explicitly call this method. This will run automatically for us. And here the variables that we have defined inside this init method are accessible same as these variables. So let's print ss.initiator. Now why do I use ss? Like I have told you that this self is nothing but the object we will be passing for this class. So instead of using self.initiator, use this object name and say ss.initiator, and that should give us the value that we put in this argument. Similarly, we can access this variable also. So ss.message, and it should give you hello Sagar, you are in the solar system now. Now let's move to our next topic, methods in class. In this topic, we will learn how to create a method in class and what are two main types of methods in class. Also, while learning this, we will come to know one more advantage of init method. So here again we have the same class solar system, and these are our common attributes in solar system. And these attributes, these are customizable attributes. Now why do I say that? Because inside init we are accepting one input from user. That means if we want to initialize a class with username Sagar, we can do that with this object. So ss is equal to solar system Sagar, and this will initialize the class with ss object, and its username will be Sagar. And here you can see the class is initiating with username Sagar. If we want to initialize same class with other username, let's say sj is equal to solar system John. Now here you can see solar system is initiating with username John. Now these are two different customized objects for the same class that we able to initialize because we have this init method in it. Now let's look at how to create a method. Creating a method in class is as similar as we create a function. So def, we will create this method called earth. You can see I have written this self over here. Why do I do that? Because here inside this earth method, you can see I have created one message using self.initiator, which is the variable that we have defined inside this init method. Now what does it say? That we can use the variables that we have defined inside init method all over the class. All the methods in the class can use these variables. The condition is we just need to pass the first argument as a self in the method. So with this we are telling that this earth method can use all the objects initialized in this init method. So here we have created this message and then we are printing this message. Let's try to call this earth method. So here as we can see we have already created these two customized objects of the same class. Let's call this earth method. You can see this earth method have printed hello Sagar, I am the blue planet. And when I use a different object which is SJ and which is initialized with this name John, we can see the earth method returned us this print statement which is hello John, I am the blue planet. So this way we can call the methods and every method is customized because of our init method. Now here is another type of method called static method. What is static method? The method which has no relation with init method in the class. That means to execute this Mars method, we do not have any dependencies from init method. So here you can see I have defined def Mars and I haven't put self argument inside these brackets. And here I have written this message. And to create this message, we are not using any object from init method. Now let's run this Mars method. Here you can see this Mars method is giving us an output for the SS object. Also it is giving the same output for SJ object. That means it is not taking any inputs from these customized objects. So I hope you have understood how can we define methods and how can we call them.